Hey folks, good evening, good afternoon. Happy to see you all again. Apologies, it's been a couple of weeks since my last stream. I do really apologise for that. We had some family issues. So it's good to see you all again. It's good to be streaming again. It's good to back and have a build, which we'll talk about in a second coming up, and some goodies to show you as well that have arrived this week. Let me just turn the volume on the TV down a touch. There we go, that's better. So this week we've got a few different bits and pieces we're going to take a look at. I am going to fix this camera before I do anything else because I've just realised it is still on autofocus. So let me just fix that. Come on, whenever Streamlabs decides to work properly, we'll get this configured. Okay, so that's that done. Okay, so there we go. Shouldn't refocus now anymore. Let's test it out. Okay, we're looking good. Okay, we're looking good. So just catch up with what's going on in chat. We've got Martin, who, as always, is the first person to post in chat. So hi, Martin. I know you said you might not be able to watch today, so hopefully you caught the intro, and thanks for that. We've also got Anarchy in chat as well, who I've got a little bit of something to show you guys from him just last week. So I'll show that in a few minutes. Who else have we got? We've also got Querdenker. Hey dude, good stream earlier on. I really enjoyed your Polycarb Singer build. That was really, really good to watch. Lovely board, even if you did have some troubles pressing the switches in. Who else have we got? We've got Kelly. Hey man, good to see you, dude. Really enjoyed last night. Can't wait to finish that off and start again. Gio, what's wrong with your keyboard? It looks bent. Yeah, I had a problem with it. Yeah, this is the problem with owning trash boards. If you own trash level boards, things like this happen, and it's not great. We've got Mr. Evil Genius himself. Hey man, again, I need some updates on your Hyper 7 build. You're further along than anybody else is, so I'm definitely can't wait to see that. And we've got Rope as well. Hi Rope. Rope, your Alice looked amazing when you posted some pictures of it. I can't wait to see the full build as well. So if you have got some pictures, please do share them with me, because the board looks great when you got it. Your finger hurts so much. I'm not surprised. It did look pretty tough. Who else have we got in chat? Gio as well. Hey man, yes. And we've got Huey as well. Hey Huey, good to see you, dude. Mr. No Longer with Top Clack. Can't wait to see what sort of content you start to put out, man, and what other streams and other things and videos, and your CA66 review, which I think is getting rewritten. I think all that kind of good stuff. Can't wait to see all that when it comes out, dude. Okay, so we'll jump into the first couple of bits that I want to do, which is show you guys some of the stuff that's arrived over the past week. That does include GMK Olivia. As far as I know, there's only a handful of people that have managed to get GMK Olivia so far. I got mine on Wednesday of this week, so I know I've shared some pictures as well. But we'll show you the board live and the keys live in a second. Before we get on to that though, some things that have arrived in the post elsewhere this week. Let's start off here. This is Oblivion. So this is GMK Oblivion, but it's the grey Alfred version. So as you guys know, I've already got the white Alfred version, and this just completes the set. It's also got the monochrome mods pack in there as well, which is great. Fantastic. So I can't wait to put that on a board. We'll probably put that on one of the sides of the build today when we get to that as well. So I'll show you guys when we get to that. I think we've got a couple of other people in the chat since then. So we've got Odin as well. Hey man, good to see you, dude. Mr. ISO himself. And we've also got Chris as well. Chris, I've not seen you around in ages, dude. How's things, man? How's things going? You alright? I hope so. What else have we had in the post? So we've also had some Revos as well. So these are the Revos. So I got another 70 of these in the post the other day. So these are going to go in the TX1800 V2 next week. I was about 20-25 short for the build for that. So these are going to top up my existing collection of those. And then we'll have some spares to do a macro pad or something else with. In other items, another GMK set arrived this week. So this is GMK Stormtrooper. So the plan here is to use GMK Stormtrooper on the Alice and replace the EPBT black on white set. So that's what this is for. It's going to replace there. So as you can see, it's quite a bright white, but not quite as bright as the muted. It's got a little bit of a softer feel, which should look a little bit nicer and a little bit less stark on the pink board. So that's the plan for that one as well. Right, okay, you've been travelling a lot. That makes sense, man. That makes sense. We've got Glove as well, the artisan maker himself. Glove, I actually need to tap you up about some more GMK and SA keycaps for some builds that are coming up, especially SA camping, because I don't have the ISO kit for one because there isn't one. So we need to start talking about some potential artisans to fill that gap. Oh, we've got Fax as well. Hey Fax, good to see you, dude. Mr. Stab Daddy himself. Guys, as you know, Fax is a wizard when it comes to stabilizers. All my boards use Stab Fax, or 90% of them do anyway. So if anyone does need any stabs, do hit Fax up. Next on the list to show you as well, these also arrived just in the post the other day. These are Velia Switches. I got these really late on. One of my friends, Snappo, he was taking these in for me. He did a bit of a joint buy for these. So they took a little while to get to me because he's kind of dropped out of the hobby, so he's getting hold of them is a little problem. But they've arrived eventually. These are going to go in a 40% build in a couple of weeks' time, so they're quite tactile. But they are really nice switches. I'm going to try playing around with lubing these and see how that goes. But yeah, interested to put them in a 40%. I think it's going to be a daisy that we build with those, so be interesting to see how that goes. So that's it for switches and the first two key sets I wanted to show you. Let's just catch back up with chat. So glove caps, the V2 SA ISO has been made and it looks naughty. Oh, you need to show some pictures of that if that's the case. Get them up in the Discord, man. I want to see those. We've got Wiz Blue as well. Hey man, hope your 3D printing is going well. I still definitely want one of those split Alice boards, whatever you named it. I can't remember now. But yeah, good to see you again, dude. Really good to see you again. Hold on, I'm just going to change a quick setting on here. There we go. And WGM as well. Hey man, I know I pinged you the other day. Your prize from previous weeks is in the post to you now already. It has been posted off, so that was your big switch and 3D printed case for it to turn it into a lamp. That's all on its way as well, dude. Okay, so next things I want to show you before we get into the build, and we'll talk about the build in a second because there's two boards to build, but I'm kind of halfway started on them and stuff like that as well. So the next two things I want to show you are the parts of the Serika set that I bought. I only got the Serika icon mods, didn't go for the full set because I don't like the sub-legends on the alphas, but I do have a plan on what I'm going to do with them. So this is the Serika Mycons set. The yellow is a little bit more orangey in real life than what it's showing up on camera, so it's, if I tilt it into light, that's more accurate in terms of the colourway itself. But they Serika Mycons and a hangover. Yeah, I did have a bit of a hangover. So Toby kindly bought these for me as part of the rest of the set. I mean, I paid for them, but he ordered the full Serika set, and I just added this onto his order. And when I went to pick them up off him last week, I did get slightly drunk when I invited him out on a team night out. So I do have a plan on what I'm going to do with these. I've got some OG double shot alphas that I'm going to use alongside these for a build. So they're slightly off-white, they're slightly yellow, beige yellow in colour, but they do look really nice with these mods. So that's what I'm going to do with these, and I've got a plan on the build that they're going to come on in the next few weeks. So there we go. Quadenka wants them. Get the. I think Tobbles was interested in selling his set, so you know, maybe hit him up, man. Maybe hit him up. Prefer text mods. I do usually as well. Facts, I would agree. I prefer text mods 9 times out of 10. But the Serika ones are such a cool yellow that I thought it was worthwhile grabbing hold of them. There's a lot of things that go with. They'll also go with quite well with the alphas from GMK Exempt, which came with the Exempt board, because they're black on black, so they'll look quite nice with that as well. So there's a few different options I've got in terms of that. In fact, let me show you the GMK Exempt board and let's see what that looks like. So this is the GMK Exempt board. It's a keyboard 661 with GMK Exempt on it. Now you'll see that because GMK Exempt is meant for the Exempt board only, it doesn't actually cover the whole layout. So the whole plan of using on this board has been to find some mods to replace this at some point. But the Mycons might be one of the better options. I think the yellow will really juxtapose the black, and it should look quite smart. So we might do something along those lines and see how that goes and looks and feels. If not, we'll definitely go back to the original plan of using the the OG alphas, so we'll see how that goes. But I think it'll look quite nice, especially considering this has got like the teal base plate and stuff like that. I think it'll look quite nice. So we'll see how that looks when it's finished. And just for interest, anyone who's interested in Glove's work on his keycaps, this is one of the space bars he did for me for SA Nautilus. So as you can see, really, really high quality, lovely and shiny bits of plastic. So yeah, thanks again for that. Just show you some of the detail. There we go. Just happen to have that to the side. Let's catch up and see who else is in chat. Yellow is Sexy Man. Yeah. Egler also agrees that he prefers text mods. That's fine. It's one of those things. I see another one just getting the Mycons. Yeah, quite a lot of people did that as well. Qualude is doing an uptime. Yeah, we've been streaming for about 15 minutes now, I think. But hey, good to see you, dude. Good to see you. That could look sexy indeed. Yeah, I'll see how it goes. I'll see what it looks like. I've got a couple of ideas for builds in mind with them. The other thing that I wanted to show you as well before we get on to GMK Olivia, which we'll look at next, is this little tool that Anarchy sent me the other day. So finally, an Alps switch opener. I've got an upcoming Brown Alps build that'll be on stream in a couple of weeks' time, and this is going to be a lifesaver for getting those switches sorted. Because at the minute I'm having to use thumbnails and prise them open, and it's a whole world of pain. So that's really, really going to help as well. So thank you, Anarchy, for arranging for these to be cut from Laser Boost. Really good bit of kit there. Okay, so next thing I want to show you guys before we get into today's build is GMK Olivia. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the box, because the box is really, really cool, and then I'll show you the key set on the board. Now, some of you might have already seen the pictures I've shared of the key set and stuff like that, but nothing really does it justice in real life. It's really, really cool. That's my phone dropping on the floor. So this is the box, GMK Olivia. As you can see, it says Olivia right on the front. The Olivia logo is in rose gold. It's not showing too well because of the shiny nature of the box. The rest of it's just plain black. And then on the base, on the reverse side, we've got the rose gold covering the whole part, and the he logo from Olivia as well. Can someone tag Olivia? She was going to watch, but I haven't seen her in the chat. Just tell her I'm showing this off. I think she wanted to. Quite interesting to see it. So yeah, so box looks great. The picture's not really doing it justice. It's a lot more peachy, rose goldy, creamy than what the camera's picking up on stream there. But it is really, really lovely. In terms of the keys themselves, this is just one of the little novelty packs. So as you can see, one of the little Olivia novelties with the heart 2, and then the black and rose gold keys as well. Look really nice together, and then they're offset with a really nice white crisp with black legend keys as well. So they do look really nice together. They work really, really well, all three together. Honestly, it's one of the best sets I think I've picked up, especially in this type of colourway. Moving on to what it looks like on the board. This is my CA66 with GMK Olivia. It's being sported. Yes, it's ISO, as some of you will say. But it is absolutely stunning. It really fits this board. It looks great on it. It's not going to stay on here as a permanent home because this usually sports SA Nautilus. So what this is actually going to do, the key set itself is going to go onto my TX1800 V2 next week when we rebuild that with the Revo whites. But I couldn't resist just putting this on a really dark grey board just to have a look at how it looked. And to be honest with you, I think it's one of the nicest key sets I own, and I've got quite a few. So yeah, I'm really, really, really interested to see that. Andy, thank you for the subscription, man. Really appreciate that. As always, any subscriptions or otherwise all go back into funding giveaways on the stream. So thank you very much for that, man. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. So yeah, so that's GMK Olivia. It's absolutely stunning. It's one of the best key sets I've had. I'll try and get this to show you the different colourway in the light as it reflects, because the interesting thing is the pinky peachy colour, it does change colour depending on the light you've got it in. It is really, really nice. PogChamp, yeah, defo. yeah, absolutely stunning key set. So if you guys don't have it, you want to get hold of it, I think Candy Keys have got some extras, and I think Novel Keys Mike, I think he's got some extras as well. Candy Keys were kind enough to ship this out to me last week. I should have had it on Tuesday, didn't get it till Wednesday because I was away with work. Ironically, I was picking up the Serika set from London, from Tobbles. So yeah, guys, absolutely, definitely pick this up if you can. One of the best key sets out there. Really happy with it. And if Olivia joins and watches on the stream, we'll show her this later on as well, because it's one of my favourite things at the minute. Let's just catch up with chat and see what's going on. Man of interest, do you have the F1 on another monitor? No, I don't. So don't spoil this for me, because it's actually recorded on the DVR in the corner over there. So don't spoil the F1 for me, because we all know Hamilton's going to win the title today as long as he finishes 7th or above, and blah blah blah. So please don't put any hints about what happens in the race on here. Let's also catch up with what else is going on. How are you doing with the Alice layout? So I'm finding the Alice layout really interesting. It's quite good. I think I prefer the VEA overall, because it's not just some keys that are at the angle and then I'm back to horizontal for the mods. I can actually move the two parts around and have them quite a bit further apart. I think from that perspective I prefer the board much further apart. Now it's on the shelf at the minute, but it was at work last week, hence why I had the Alice back here, because I've been working a lot in the office rather than at home recently, and that's not usually the case. Usually I spend more time here than at the office, so there we go. I printed one of those openers, works really well. Yes, Matt, hello Matt, welcome to the stream again. Yeah, it does work really well. I've tried it on a couple of Alps switches, works perfectly. Really happy with it. I'll post a file and then Jay can pin it so you can get one cut yourself. Oh yeah, if you put that in the Discord, my Discord, I will definitely do that. We'll put it on there. In fact, Query, if you want, I can print you one off when I send you some of the MX tweezers. So these are MX 3D printed MX stem holders. So you can put the cross in here and then you can apply lube and tweezer them about. So I'll send those as well. But anyone have any Alps keycaps for sale? Ooh, I don't know. I don't have any for sale, but that's there. That's that. Mr. Olivia, yeah, it's one of my favourite sets. Absolutely, it's worth getting. Our Candy Keys are out of stock now, are they? Oh, wow. I didn't realise I'd sold out already. Your set will be going straight on the Singer when it arrives. It looked great on the Singer, absolutely. The Polycap, my Polycap Singer's just here on the shelf wearing 90009, but yeah, it would look absolutely fantastic. What else are we talking about? Novel Keys extras are soon. We've got Stotty Boy in the chat. Hey man, good to see you, dude. Stotty Boy's actually a local lad. He lives quite local to me. We're going to meet up at some point and show off some of the boards. As you can see, there's some in the background here. Stotty, I think you saw a picture from the other day, and Alice and whatever. Wednesday at 9. Oh, is that for the Novel Keys GMK Olivia sets? Cool, that sounds about right, yeah. Hi James, nice butt to you too, man. Nice butt. Oh, nice Wiz. I'm glad you got an Alice. That's really cool. That's really cool, dude. What colour did you get, man? Tell me what colour you got. Is anyone here knowledgeable with Retooled Blacks? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe. Yeah, I've got quite a few Retooled Blacks. I bought 1,000 of them when they were back on sale a little bit ago. So if you've got any questions on the Retooled Blacks, just let me know. Jacob, do you have one of those stem holders for me? I do. Yeah, that is yours. Quote, that one is yours. There you go. That one is absolutely yours. So yes, I've got one of those for you. I've got a few for other people as well, and some 3D printed switch openers as well that we did the other week on the 3D printer, which are nice and sturdy. Okay, so what else is going on? And me, yeah, Max, I got one for you as well. Look, I've got a few of them. Look, here we go. Yeah, I've got a few. Hold on, I've just tapped the change setting on my monitor. Yeah, I've got a few of the stem holders. I've got plenty of them. Don't worry, they'll be all shipped around. Maxi, yours is already on its way with your dice tower as well. Time to head to the shed and do some sanding. Hopefully the Wi-Fi will reach. Good luck, Glove. Good luck. It looks good with that infill on the Alice. Yeah, it does. It looks really nice. Just acrylic paint looks really good. I've done it on a few boards. I've done it on the Canoe and a couple of others as well. It's always a great touch. Question is where to get them. I get mine from Arrow. I bought 1,000 of these from Arrow about 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago. I think they've gone up in price a little bit now, but the Retooled blues are on there as well, which are really good if you want a tactile one as well. Oh, you got the red Alice, nice. The red will look really good. Do you know what would look good on the red Alice? GMK Stormtrooper would look really good on the red Alice. If I had a red board, that's what I'd put on it. Had a choice of pink or red. Well, pink would be my choice, as you can see, but yeah, the red one would be cool as well. Nice. Okay, so what we're going to do now is look back at the build, and I'll talk you through what we're going to do in just a second. Because what I want to do here is try and do a bit of science. So I kind of prepped a little bit for the stream already. Let me just wind all these back out of the way. Got boards everywhere now. Okay, so as some of you guys might remember, we built the Noxary X75 Prototype on stream a couple of weeks ago, and we built it with a brass plate, and we built it using Smurfy teal switches. Or the sky switches, whatever they're called. Now, I wasn't particularly happy with the switches. I wasn't using the board very much, even though it's a really cool board and it sounded great. The reason being I didn't like the switches. The other thing is, I also had, when I had this brass plate made for this top, I also had this copper plate made for this top, which I've had sat slowly tarnishing in the shower for the past few weeks. So as you can see, instead of being shiny like we did on the VEA, this has gone like a lovely tarnished copper colour as well. So what the plan is now is to have interchangeable tops on the base. So we'll have one top that will have that on there. Oh, thank you, Cthulhu, for the follow, man. Thank you for that. So I'll have one base that will have the brass plate, and we'll have one base, one top that will have the brass plate, and we'll have one top that has the copper plate. And the plan is to build them with Retooled black switches so that they're both identical. What that also gives us a chance to do is then see how two different tops of two different materials with the same switches, with the same type of caps on, will sound and how that affects sound profile. So I know Swise has done some, Chris Swise has done some interesting sound tests with aluminium and brass on the same board. We're going to do copper and brass on the same board and see how that sounds. Now, one thing we do need to bear in mind is that these are both 2mm plates. That was what I had, what they had in stock at Laser Boost at the time, and that's what I ordered. They now do 1.5mm if you do want to go for that as well, but that shouldn't make much difference on the sound. It'll probably make more difference on the feel. So, we've got some other copper boards. I like the sound profile on those boards, but this will give us our first unbiased different test. So what we'll do is we'll build up each board with the new switches. We'll do both of them on stream today. We'll try both of them outside of the case. We'll put them both onto the case separately, and then what I'll do is I'll get a sound test up on YouTube in the next couple of days where I'll have them both side by side in terms of the video perspective. I'll just jump from one to the other so you can hear literally at the same time what they sound like. So that is the plan, and that's where we've got to so far. In terms of the actual build so far, the prep has been that I have two PCBs. Both of these have got GMK screw-in stabs that have been lubed, clipped and fitted. So these are all fitted onto the boards. This board has been desoldered from the Utami Sky switches that we saw a few minutes ago, but they are identical, as you can see, both the KBD Fans 75 PCB. The first one came from KBD Fans. The other one, Candy Keys were kind enough to send to me the other week. And Coy, thank you very much for the follow, man. Thank you, dude. Really appreciate that, man. And this one came from Candy Keys, who were kind enough to send it to me for the purpose of this science test. So yeah, so we're going to go with that and see how we get on. As I say, we're going to use lubed MX Blacks. So these have been spring swapped for 63.5 gram sprit springs, all 200 or so of them, and they've also been lubed with Krytox 106 on the spring and the slider as well. So they're lovely and smooth and quiet. As you can see, very, very quiet. So yes, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a bit of science, build them both up, get a sound test on YouTube in the next couple of days as well, and also give you guys a feel for what the difference between copper and brass is in terms of sound profile. Hope that sounds good. So let's just catch up with chat, see what's been going on. Do we know if the whole Arrow stock is retooled though? Yes, it is. I'm pretty sure that they're all retools, so I think it'd be fine on that. Copper, interesting. Yep, so we've got copper in the VEA just up here, and I've got copper in a couple of other boards as well. I really like copper as a material. I think it's fantastic. I've even got a copper name tag here that Laserboos made me as well. So that's what the shiny copper looks like. That's what this plate looked like before we tarnished it. So as you can see, there's a bit of a difference in the two. Those aren't PCB mounts, so they don't have the extra pins on the bottom housing. Yes, you can get PCB mount and non-PCB mount. If you look on the bottom here, you'll see two little plastic pins on either side. Those are PCB mount variant. Is that a Dolch set you've just seen? Yes, this is a GMK Dolch. This is one of the OG sets. So this will be staying on this housing, and we'll probably be putting Oblivion on the cop housing. Okay, great. So I think that's caught up with chat. So let's start to populate this board. So let's check. We've got the new PCB with an undesoldered one. As I say, we've already taken a few steps forward on this one. No switches to lube today. I'm really warm, so I'm just going to take this off. Okay, so no switches to lube today. Oh, Poochazga. I'm not sure how to say that. I'm just going to call you Pooh. But thank you very much for the follow. I do really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. I'm also going to open my window because it's got really warm in here recently. There we go. Hopefully that'll make it a bit more comfortable. Okay, so we're going to start with the build. So as you can see, I've already got the stabs in place. I've already taken that step. The plate's already fitted into the case. Now I do need to get a few more screws out to just hold that on. It's only held in with 2 at the moment, so I'll fix that afterwards. But that's a dead simple job, and we'll do that when we're putting the board together. So the first thing to note is that a lot of switches won't clip into a 2mm plate, so you do have to be really careful with stuff like this. Make sure you're aligning correctly. And all we're going to do is just push that through, line it up. Oh, man of interest, thank you for the follow, Huey. I really appreciate that, dude. Okay, so that's the first one in there. And what we're going to do is just get some in the corners. What this will do is this will hold the PCB onto the plate via the switches. And once we've gone through all the 4 corners, what we'll be able to do then is start to move it around the board and fill that in. So Quer, this is, I know what you had a problem with earlier on today on your build, where your switches wouldn't stay pressed in to the PCB, or really tough to press into the PCB, so to say. So as I say, we're just going to do the 4 corners. We'll then start to look at some in the middle of the board, and then we'll start to fill in all the gaps and go around. Oh, and Gio, thanks for the sub, man. That's really, really cool. As always, I think that's the 2nd month subbed as well. Gio, as always, any sub funds go straight back into the giveaways that we do on stream. I know I haven't done one for a couple of weeks, but there will be another giveaway coming up soon as well, so we'll take a look at that probably on the next stream. So yeah, I'll talk about that, because some really interesting stuff we're going to do for the next giveaway. Just going to pop a couple in the middle now, and this will hold it all nice and neat and tidy. Okay. Okay, and where that puts us now is that puts us where the PCB and the plate are pretty much sturdy, held on. We can make sure that everything's pressed in nicely. I'd say there's a bit of flex in these corners because of the plate not being screwed onto the top properly. But yeah, there we go. So what's happening here is the PCB mount studs on the bottom are basically holding the plate and the PCB together through the switches. Quer's having to leave the stream because he's getting flashbacks. No, you did a good build job, man. It was a really good build stream. Did I lube your blacks? Yeah, so the blacks are lubed, so the springs are swapped for Sprit 63.5 gram springs. They have been lubed with Krytox 106. The stems have also been lubed with Krytox 106, as have the housings as well, so the base of the housings. If you guys want to see my lube method, it is on a couple of older streams, so feel free to go and check out those VODs. It's usually right at the very beginning of the stream, so do check that out if you want a bit of a guide. And I'm always happy to put it on a future stream as well. It's just because we've got 2 boards on this build that I wanted to make sure that we were doing okay for time and everything else. Okay, so one of the things I might just do is just undo these 2 screws just so I can get into the plate properly. Is that the right size? Isn't that only necessary if you have the flexing of the plate? Have you tried adding some thick bump-ons between the plate and the PCB? I've never tried doing that actually. Shouldn't really need to do that for anything. I'd only do that if the plate wasn't fitting correctly. This one that was undone. There we go. Okay, so it should be able to just pop this out now. There we go. The only reason we're struggling with that is just because the plate isn't secured into the housing, so when I was pushing it was just pulling it out of the housing. James, I've just read your message there, and I've got to be honest, I disagree. I don't think buying a Singer could ever be a bad thing. Soren thinks the same. So don't say you did a bad thing when you bought something that's as good as a polycarb Singer. Was it Mel's one that you bought? Was it the polycarb one that you bought? Mel's? Okay, there we go. So that's that bit fixed now. So what we're going to do is just start to fill up the rest of the positions with the switches. Oh, that one's come loose. This is the issue. These switches don't fit in a 2mm thick plate. So we are having to make sure that we just go back and repress some things in. But that's fine. Par for the course with these builds. We know what they're like now. How finicky they can be. And that's just one of the challenges of 2mm copper. So that's all sorted out. Mel's, yeah, and you shouldn't have. Wow, it's not a bad thing, man. It's not a bad thing. And it was built by Tidal as well. Don't forget. And Tidal's one of the better builders out there right now. Certainly, in my opinion. Okay, so as you can see, these are all clipping in quite nicely now. We just need to go around the board, fill in all the gaps, and we should be good to go. As you can see, this is a fixed plate. It doesn't offer many choices in terms of layout. The only choice it does offer is around the around the caps lock key, so we can go for stepped caps or normal caps. For this occasion we're going to go in stepped caps, and there it is, but everything else is fixed. And there's no other choices or options on the layout from that perspective, but that's okay because that's why I had it made this way. Yeah, it was a good price as well that Mel sold it at. She basically sold it at cost. Okay, Wiz, I get your point. The only thing is I wouldn't want them under there when I was typing, and it's finding ones that are small enough to fit in the gap. And once we get enough switches in, it's not going to collapse anyway. The pressure you'd need to get it to collapse would be significant. The other side of it is, because I left the plate in the shower, it is slightly warped, just due to the water. That's why it's been in the case, to try and re-straighten it out a little bit. So yeah, so other than that, it's all fine. Everything's going in just fine now. These switches are clipping in to where the plate sits, and they're also pressing right into the PCB nicely as well, so we're all good on that front. Fixed plate is best plate. Yeah, I'd agree on that one. I think that 90% of my builds going forward will have a revised plate rather than a group buy plate, and that will be fixed. I think the next one for me will be ANSI. I am tempted by the HB85 after Brian's stream the other night as well. I think that looks really good. And we've also got a couple of other boards coming in as well over the next couple of weeks. Doro 67, TR 35, whatever it's called. Yeah, lots of different stuff coming. and we've got a backlog of about 20 boards, I think, at the minute, 20-25 boards at the minute. That's what the current backlog looks like for the build streams as well. So I just need to work out orders and switch choices and 1,001 other bits and pieces. As you can see, these are all going in just fine now, so it's starting to pick up a bit of pace. Once this is in place, what we'll do is we'll get the other PCB ready, and then we'll do all of the soldering at once. Try and get it out as quickly as possible. But these are all sitting nice and flush now, and not moving the plate out of the way or out of position or anything like that. Let's try and build up this corner a bit. Slightly loosen this top corner just here. I'm going to put another one in just there. Strengthen that up. Going back to the whole 2mm versus 1.5mm thing, I think 2mm is probably just about as thick as I'd like to go on a plate these days. I don't think any of the 4mm or 5mm memes are going to be for me. I think any more than 2 is really, really tight. First world keyboard problems when you have a backlog that big. Oh man, it's absolutely ridiculous. It's crazy. The hardest thing right now is deciding what order to build things in. But we've got 2 Duck Vipers, a Duck Octagon. I've got an LZST. There's another LZ as well. I can't remember what it is. We've potentially got a QXP to build, which I wasn't going to get, but someone's offered me one for a really good price. And Exent's on the way. There's just loads of other bits and pieces going on around there. Zonda, I'd like to have a word. Zonda can say whatever he wants, and I know Zonda really well, so if Zonda wants to have a chat, he's welcome to. This is his X75 prototype that he told me would never be ISO and couldn't be ISO, but it is. We did a bit of retro fitting different plates to the to his design and case, and same from a PCB's perspective as well. Luckily, he designed it to be compatible with standard 75% PCBs, so that really, really worked out well. And Wilbur was kind enough to help me redesign and redesign the plate from scratch, basically, because Zonda no longer had the designs available to him. Noxary plate made of leather when? Yeah, and I don't know if Zonda started production on the 280 yet or not, but I am interested to see how his polycarb 5mm plates come out on that. I have tried his prototype and I did quite like that because it's still got flex, but in terms of metal 5mm plates, not sure I'd want to go with those. Octagon or Megalol. Octagon's a nice board, man. What else have we got as well? We might have a TCV3 coming. That's something that I'm looking at. We've got a lightsaber as well in the backlog. I think I mentioned the 2 Vipers. What else have we got? There's another keyboard 661 that's going to be an AEK build. So it's going to be an ISO AEK build. I can't even think of the rest of them. I did post a list on Top Pack the other day because someone asked what was in the backlog. I've got a TX65 and a TX1800 V2 to build. The TX1800 will be next week, which should be a good fun build. What else do we do? Oh, we've got the Alu Singer. That's left on the backlog to build. I'm looking forward to doing that one. For those that you don't know, my polycarb Singer was built by Wes Foxtrot, who runs Cable Car Designs, as a bit of a wedding gift. He did that for me a couple of months ago. You love the TCV3. Yeah, it's such a unique layout. I was in talk. I missed the group buy, and I've been in talks with a few people to try and get hold of one from the group buy. Now they're starting to ship. Nearly bought Nathan's, but Nathan didn't quite have the right choices and options that I was looking for. So we're gonna. We've pretty much got to an agreement with someone for that. So hopefully that will happen soon. I'm trying to think what else I've got coming as well. I think that's it. There's quite a few in group buys still that come, so we'll see. You'll see them on stream anyway. I'll post a bit more of a list when we get around to it. Hold on, it's a bent pin there. Just straightening that pin up. Okay, so that's the first plate done. So as you can see, that's the MX Blacks with the copper plate, the rustic copper plate. As you can see, the PCB is sitting nice and flush all the way around. So that's sat quite nicely. There's no issues there. All the tolerances look really good and the clearance looks really good as well. Just going to pop this back into the case, see how it looks. Oops. So there you go, guys. You can see what that's going to look like when it's all put together. So the copper and the silver working really well with the black switches. I think that looks really, really good. Yeah, it's really nice. It does look like wood. It's literally been sat in the bottom of my shower cubicle for the past month or so. So every time it's been washed or anything, you know, the water's run down, it's just been up against the wall like that. That's given it kind of a bit of a streaky, tarnished look. Hold on, let's have a look on the bottom. It's probably not as bad. No, can't see the bottom. Idiot. If you want to see a shiny one, you can have a look at the VEA build stream. That's a shiny plate. That looks really nice as well. We had that one clear coated to keep its luster, but for this one I just wanted to go with something a little bit different. Okay, so that's all ready to be soldered. Before we do that though, what we're going to do is just pop this one apart and then build this one up, and then we'll go from there. This one was originally built with the Utemu Sky switches, as you can see. Turns out I'm not as big a fan of the Utemu Skies as I thought I would be. They weren't the nicest of switches to use on a daily basis. A little bit scratchy for me, but really, really tactile. I seem to be moving away from tactile switches now, so that's one of the things. Jay, did you see the picture I sent you of a pink copper tabletop from a pub? Yes, I did. Do you know what, man? I'm sorry I didn't respond to that because you did text me that the other day in Swires and I really liked it. It was nice. AEK explain. Yeah, so Max has done a UK ISO AEK plate Apple extended keyboard, sorry, PCB called the Cyclops. I've got one coming. It's a 66 key layout. It'll be going in the keyboard 661, so very similar to the one with the GMK Exent one we saw earlier on. That will be using Brown Alps. The plate's on order from Laser Boost as we speak, so that's going to be coming soon. Qualu misses every good group buy. I miss so many of them, man. I miss so many of them. Gloves back from the shed because his Wi-Fi didn't work. That looks so nice. Thanks, man. I appreciate that rope. I really do, especially coming from someone with such nice taste as yourself. Anyone here got a gasket? No, I haven't got one. I wasn't lucky enough or well known enough or whatever to get in on that group buy. So there. You like that board more than an XD87? This board. Wait till you see the actual base. So this is the actual base of it. So it's a solid hunk of aluminium and brass. So it sits on this, and as I said, it is the Noxary X75 Prototype 01. So yeah, so this is what we're going to be putting it together with a bit of solid, thick aluminium. It's really hefty. In fact, I might get the scales and weigh this later on because I reckon it's in the region of about £6, maybe. Maybe I'm overestimating that, but that's what I think. You've heard the skies were a letdown for a lot of people. Yes, they were. I don't think the bad switches. If I hadn't had switches that I was used to with lube and stuff like that on, I think I'd be fine with them. And these are lubed with RO59, but I think that's part of the problem. I think if I strip them down and then if I get them ultrasonic cleaned and try lubing them with something I'm used to, like 106 or 104, it might be a lot better switch. But that might affect the tactility, so who knows. If you guys check out the sound recording for this board, they do sound good though. Excuse me. They do sound really, really good. Okay, so we're just going to try and get all these caps off, move them to one side. Oops. and then we'll replace all the switches, and we'll crack on with soldering. And then once we've soldered, we can start to get into the exciting sound test pieces. So as you can see, although this is a 2mm thick plate, the switches aren't pulling out with the caps coming off. That's because these do actually clip into 2mm. The Skies will clip into them, whereas the Retools won't. Just food for thought. Private group buys, smack my head. I wouldn't say that about all private group buys. I understand why some things are private. A lot of private group buys are for prototyping and things like that, which is, you know, completely understandable. Certain things like key sets, again, I can understand why people do it. Whether I do it myself or not is kind of irrelevant. Some people want to do it that way, others don't. I got SA Nautilus, which is here, in a private group buy, which is a really nice set. It's just one of those things. Different strokes for different folks, you know. Let's just move these keycaps out of the way. I do feel like I'm not quite as well set up as I usually am here, guys, so I do apologise. Okay, so that's that bit done. Let's get these switches out. Some of these are going to take a little bit of a pain to get out. The switch lifter, the IC extractor I've got won't fit into the back of the case here to lift some of these switches out, so it may take a few minutes to completely remove them all. We're going to crack on with this. So the difference between the two plates here, apart from being brass and copper, is this brass one is sandblasted, so it looks really nice and well, it's kind of got almost like a sandblasted feel to it, like a sandblasted brick would do. It's kind of rough but smooth at the same time. The copper itself is just finished copper, which was originally a shiny finish, which I sanded back with a scourer and then just let it tarnish in the shower. So there's a lot of different things you can do with copper. You can also tarnish it with until it goes green, so just leave it out in the elements. You can burnish it so it goes like all sorts of oil colour shades, which is quite cool, just through heating it with a blowtorch. Lots of different things you can do with copper. Starting to make a bit of progress here, guys, so hopefully it won't take too long to get all of these out. Well, these might come out the same. No, they're going to have to be popped out from the bottom. Come back to those. Okay. What else is going on in chat? Let's try and catch up. Keyboard Sucking Customs again. This time it's my LZ CLS MS. Nice, man. That's a really nice board. That's a really nice board. I'm not salty. I would love to get my hands on a wing-keyless gasket. Yeah, I would as well, man. I would absolutely love to get one. As I say, I have been offered a QXP, so we'll see how that comes out. I'm not sure. Yeah, gasket sounds really, really good. Really good. I love carbon plates. I have a carbon fibre plate in my E6 actually. It is on the shelf behind me, but you can't see it. It's on the other side. It's just up here. But yeah, I've got a carbon fibre plate in that. Again, Stotty, the video is on YouTube if you want to have a look for that. If you look for my E6 on my YouTube channel, you'll see the one with the carbon fibre plate on there. So you can take a listen to that if you'd like. But it does sound really good. If I'm honest, it's one of the better sounding E6 boards. A lot of the E6 boards do have a bit of a flat sound to them, whereas that just sounds really good. Okay. Qualu saying, have you seen the Volcano 60? It's also gasket mount. That's pretty interesting. I've seen that as well. I think it looks like a great board. I think it's really interesting. Another 66% or 66 key. I think it looks great. Another board that looks fantastic, which isn't gasket mount but sandwich mount, is the Anzi. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but that looks really, really good as well. Again, that's Max that's running that. So lots of interesting stuff going on in the keyboard world right now. I know on that when he designed this 75%, he also had a 66 key design at the time. I don't know if that's going to progress or if that's one of his dropped projects or not. I suspect it is. Okay, almost there now. Just the top row, which is going to be a bit of a pain, I think. Let's see if we can prise these out using a little screwdriver. So what we're doing here is just catching the clips on the back side, being able to lift the switch out that way. There we go. That's all of the Utemu Sky switches removed from the brass board. Now what we're going to do is replace those with the MX Retooled Blacks. Let's just get these out of the way. If anyone wants a boatload of Utemu Sky Utemu Sky switches, let me know. You feel free to have those. Okay, so let's have a look on that. You'd love the layout. I'd rather get Chris's staccato. The best part about the staccato is the weight design. I absolutely love that. And the Anzi is beautiful. Yeah, the weight design and everything else on the Anzi is amazing. It's definitely one of my favourite boards of this year. I was lucky enough to get to use and test the prototype for a little while from Max. That was really nice privilege. And yeah, fell in love with the board. Definitely want to make sure I get hold of one of those when the group buy comes around. I think there's been a little bit of questioning on his pricing for it, but to be honest, given what the board is and has, I think it's completely fair. I know people have been concerned about the plate price, but the fact that it's CNC milled and the fact that he's offering 12 different options and still trying to keep fixed layouts, I think the prices are pretty fair. I don't think there's any problem with those from my perspective. Okay, just going to put a few random switches in here, try and hold this all together. So as I said before, this is identical layout to the other plate and PCB combo. There is only one layout choice, which is ISO, and the only conversation piece, the only choice you've got really on the board is whether you go for step caps or full. Fill up this side a little bit as well. Okay. Let's see what's going on. Hey man, if you want them, ping me your address. I'll put them in a bag and ship them off to you. You are more than welcome to those switches, dude. You're the first one to ask for them, so you can have them. Simple as that. They are the sky tops and the sky bottoms as well, with the MX Clear style stem. I think we've got split springs in as well. I think I put split springs in, but I have to go back and rewatch the stream to confirm exactly what weight they were. Okay guys, we're starting to make a bit of progress here. Once this is done, we can start to crack on with the soldering. Yeah, of course I can throw you a couple of skies, man. Yeah, not a problem. I have got the other variants as well with the different tops, so I'll send you 2 or 3 of each if that's alright, dude. Yeah, not a problem, man. Anything for the collection. So this has got a bent pin. I can feel it when I put it in. Normal, everyone thinks us northerners are tight. Well, we are, but Jay isn't. I can be really tight with some things, man. But hey, if I've got something I'm not using. Mod M's in the housing for that all teal deal. What would Mod M's feel like in there? I've got some Mod M stems somewhere. Let me dig those out later on and tell you what I think of that feel. That could be interesting. And Querdon, as always, you are completely and utterly welcome. I'll make sure I send you those with the other bits and pieces. It'll probably be a week or so away because I'll be away with work during the week this week. I think likely the next time I'll be going to the post office will be Saturday, so it might be a week or so until you get those. Cool, no rush. Good, as long as you're comfortable with that. I can send you some Revo Whites and Velias as well if you want a couple of those, man. I've got plenty going around. I don't know if you've got either of those. Just make a list and send it over to me and I'll take a look at that. Okay, so as you can see, we're starting to get there now. I think they both look great. That's falling out. Which do you think looks better so far, guys, the copper or the brass? Because that's just as important as the science. The aesthetics are completely as important. Okay, so we are going to have one slight problem on this board, guys, as well. Whilst we're soldering, I'm going to have to put that switch in last, purely because I didn't desolder it properly. So yeah. People saying the copper. Would I say Crytox 104 is the best for Retooled Blacks? It's all opinion, man. So Crytox 104 is quite thin. You can get 106, which is quite thick. I'd recommend trying both, if I'm honest. For the sake of $10 or $12, you can get both types of lube and try both out. I think that's absolutely a choice. Yeah, I think I agree, guys. I think copper does look better. And, well, if you guys want copper plates, hit up Laser Boost. Chris Swires Martin and I have been working with Laser Boost to try and get some standardized plate files on there as well. So you can just order if you've got certain types of boards. It's a little bit more difficult for custom boards because a lot of the designers don't release their plate files. But where we can, we'll be happy to help you get plate going with them. And Laser Boost service, if you haven't used them, is fantastic. It's second to none. They're such good guys. They get stuff sent out so quickly and produce stuff so quickly. They're working on their shipping costs as well. It looks like they're going to be reducing those in the near future, and yeah, I can't talk highly enough of them. The service has been impeccable from them, and they're just really nice to boot as well. Nice to have a chat with. Making me regret my brass plate, and you haven't even built the plate. Well, if you haven't built it, now's the perfect time to get a copper one. Now, don't forget, guys, the other thing as well is this is just on aesthetics that you're judging it right now. Let's wait until we get the sound test and the feel report in at the end, because that could make a bit of a difference. Oops. One of the things that I am going to be putting a copper plate in is a wooden kayak. So I bought the files for the kayak from Coda, and I know there's a couple of group buys going around for them. So I've got a POM one coming, and I've got an acrylic one or two coming as well, and a wooden kayak as well, which will be quite nice, which will get a copper plate treatment. So that should be good. Okay, this is where we find out if I actually lubed enough switches, if I counted out enough switches. earlier on today, or if I need to go back to the drawing board and do a couple more on stream. Version 2 ISO pics in the keyboard pics channel for you. Ooh, I will have a look shortly. Do you want to paste the link in here, Glove? You get the Discord link, paste it in the chat. I can look at it a little bit easier. Okay. Oh, an ABS plate, 3D printed. Yeah, I've done a couple of those on my 3D printer. I have to be honest, I'd rather have a plateless build. I think plateless feels nicer. But they're not terrible. They're not terrible. Oh, okay, let me have a look at this. Oh man, that looks really good. That's really clean. Glove, you've knocked that out of the park, man. That's really smooth and clean. I'm really impressed with that, dude. Really impressed. Hey Coconut Man, welcome back to the stream. Yeah, you missed GMK Olivia earlier on, but we can give you another showing of the set. It's just here. This is GMK Olivia, and this is what it looks like on a board, up close and personal with GMK Olivia. There you go. Just wait till you feel. Well, send me one, man. I'll try it out. Starting to almost fix this here. Yeah, some of Glove's caps are amazing. As I say, I showed you the space bar he did me for SA Nautilus earlier on. I'm a massive fan of his artisanal caps. Okay, we're almost there now, guys. Did exactly the right number of switches. So these last ones may take a little bit of heat to get them to position, purely because my soldering iron wasn't desoldering by this point, or not particularly well. So we'll come back to those when we're actually doing the soldering of the boards. We'll make sure that we solder those in. So there we go, guys. That's copper versus brass X75 plates. Try and give you a bit of view in the light so you can get different views using the same switches. We can do a little bit of sound test now. Let me just mute the music and I'll show you what these sound like so far. It's not going to be really a good test, but you can kind of get the impression. So yeah, we'll look at it later on. That's probably a really poor test of the sound quality. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go into the soldering of these two. So let's bring out a little heat mat. And as I say, we'll solder these together. I'm just going to put a couple of screws back in this to hold it back onto the top. Put the music back on as well. There we go, that's better. Hope I could get this screw to go in. There we go. I'll pick out some more screws to hold it in a little bit better later on. There we go. There you go, guys. That's what it's going to look like. Okay, so let me just grab my soldering iron, solder, and everything else I need to do the next step. As always, we'll be using Kester solder. This is 0.8mm 6040. We'll use those when we get back onto that board. And we'll be using the TS100 soldering iron. Get the tools out of the way. Okay. Let's give this a minute to heat up, and then we'll start to crack on with the soldering. The solder I use usually melts about 340, so we're not going to be soldering at too hot a temperature today. My browser is going absolutely crazy in the background. Okay guys, so we're going to start to solder this up. We'll start off by just putting a bit of heat into the corners and just soldering the corners nicely. Oh, is this melting? There we go. Going to do all 4 corners and then work our way around the rest of the board. That's one done that. Move over to this side. Down to the bottom. And then over to this side. There we go. I'm just going to do a couple in the middle, and then we'll just start going row by row and quickly solder this one together. There we go. Okay, so it looks like either you guys have been very, very quiet or chat has frozen for me, so let me just refresh that. Apologies if I've missed anything that's been said. Is a thicker solder a little easier to use than the thin hairs? So I use 2. I've got this, and where's the other solder? I've got oh, it's over here. I've got 2 sets of Kester solder. Let me just pop this down safely. So they're both Kester, and I use the 0.8mm for doing switches and stuff like that. And then this stuff is really, really fine. This is 0.25mm. I use that for any SMD stuff that I need to do as well. Just different things for different things. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to go row by row now, and then really quickly get this all soldered together. And then once we've done that, we'll move on to the other board, and then we'll start to do some sound testing for you guys so you can hear what the difference in sound profile is. And of course we'll slap a key set on both of them. Just pushing a little bit of solder into the soldering iron and then letting the rest flow around the switch. Again, no need to use tons. It's like lubing is this. It's easier to add a little and then add more if you need to. Okay. Start to build our way through this fairly quickly. Almost row 1 done. This is the most boring part of the stream. I do apologise for that, guys, but at least you can see my crappy soldering technique, so it gives you guys something to laugh and joke about, which is not necessarily a bad thing. So and of course there's no Chris Swires this week in chat spamming it with bits and asking for requests to dance. He's sunning it up in lovely sunny Mexico at the moment. He's on his jolly holidays in Mexico right now. I'm just going to move this out of the way because I don't want to get any splashes of solder on the board. There we go. There's some rosin that had splashed across there as well. I think I have the 0.25mm paint switches. Yeah, you just end up feeling like you're using loads even though you're not. That's the challenge with it. It's not bad to use that. It's perfectly acceptable. I'm sure there's lots of people that use it successfully. I use 1mm. Yeah, that's fine. Like 0.8 to 1mm. Yeah, that's fine. This is 0.8, as I say. I think I've got some 1mm somewhere. It's all good as long as your solder's melting and you're not ending up with cold solder joints and things like that. It's all fine. It's all relative. Thicker solder needs longer contact time to melt, but as you need the same amount of solder, you'll have to add more of the thinner solder per joint. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah. I think I prefer the thicker solder. It feels faster for switches for me. But then again, I've never tried anything above 1mm, so I wouldn't want to swear on that. Almost through the second row now. Sorry, I'm so slow at this, guys. I know some people are super duper fast at this. Sadly, I'm not one of those people. No switch in that slot. Okay. Second row done. There we go, making some progress now. I'm going to use whatever is in my solder box. Never been out from time I bought it. Just know it's 64 units. That's all you've got. You need. Slower solders unite. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably better taking my time. I'm not going to make any mistakes, but at the same time, it is so boring for you guys, and I do completely appreciate that. It takes more of my attention to solder. It means I can't speak to chat as often as I'd like, or catch up with what's going on without slowing right down. So I do appreciate that. Just in terms of other news, I know it's Mechanicon next weekend. I don't know if any of you guys are going to that. I think Querdenker and Egler are going to be repping the international kit. So that should be good fun. I can't wait to see a lot of pictures from there. If you guys haven't checked it out already, do check out Egler and Querdenker's The International Kit podcast. It's really, really good, especially the one where they interviewed Olivia. One of my favourite podcast episodes ever was that. And I think they've got another podcast episode coming out soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that as well. In fact, if you type !The International Kit in chat, you'll be able to see that fairly easily as well. I'll get some links to that. Finish this row and then we'll see what's going on in chat. I can see it flickering out of the corner of my eye. I'd be interested in what you guys think to GMK Olivia as well. When I showed it earlier on, it's definitely one of my favourite sets right now. Yeah, I thoroughly like the set. ISO enter is just here. Jay, figure out how to have one of you as hosts. We can talk while you solder. Yeah, I do need to do that. I don't want to have to wear headphones though, so we can talk. That's what I want to try and get around. I don't know how we're going to do that, but I need to think of a way. Slow solder equals good solder. No need to rush anything. And Quadenk will have stickers as well, so you can see that. I'll see there and ask for stickers. Oh, man, get me some stickers, man. If you're going to be there, dude, get me some stickers. I'm sorry, not a fan of Olivia Wiz. That's fair. I think it's one of my favourite sets, but I can completely understand why some people aren't a fan. Quodenker, if you're there, you should ping Olivia as well. Actually, if you ping Olivia on my Discord and see if she wants to just come and have a quick look at it. I'm not sure she's actually seen a set in the wild yet, other than the pictures I posted the other day. She did say to let her know when I was going live, and I completely forgot. Okay. Just over halfway done on this board now, guys, and then we'll do the other one, and then we'll be good to go. Feels like it's been forever since I last soldered something, and in reality it's probably only been a couple of weeks, but it does feel like it's a long time since. Okay, that's another row done. Limited supply, so one sticker per person. Well, make sure there's one for me. That's all I'll say. Right, okay, she's been pinged. That's fine. That's fine. If she's not around, she's not around. I'll catch up with her later. I have some stuff to send her anyway, so I'll catch up with her on a message about that. Okay. So this is the Z row that we're doing right now, and then once we've done this row, we'll be on to the space row, the home row, and then we'll be done. We can move on to the brass plated board at that point as well. Go. Almost there, guys. Almost there now, and then we can start to look at the rest of it. In other news as well, guys, I saw that Huey had now left Top Clack. I don't know if he's still watching. He was watching earlier on, which might mean some big changes coming up at Top Clack. I think he's going to go and promote himself on some other content creation rather than just what he was doing with Top Clack. So I think he's got a lot of videos and things like that planned, so that should be really interesting to see what he comes out with. And it'll be interesting to see how Brian handles Top Clack solo initially, and if he gets another co-host or anything else as well. I'm really interested to see how that goes and see what the future of Top Clack is. Okay, almost there now. Just a couple more switches left to go. 1, And last switch. My phone's going crazy. All sorts of things going on. There we go. There we go. Okay, so that's the first board soldered. First one down, one to go. I think that looks really good actually. I'm really happy with how that's come out. Definitely going to be one of my best looking plates, I think. Okay, so now what we're going to do is move on to the brass plate. I'll catch up with chat just first, just while we fix these final switches that need to go in. Effectively, the issue with these is just there's over soldered when I put the board together, so they just need the existing solder melting a little bit so that we can put the switches in. Now I know that the solder that was used on the board originally was non-leaded solder, so it might just need a bit more heat, so I'll give that a second to warm up. I wonder what will come first, my clip, my solarized dark caps, or plum. Interesting, that's a lot of good buys there. James J, I have an idea. UK78, desolder the board you have now, then do the high res build. I could come next weekend if you wanted to. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds good. We could maybe have a look at that. Yeah, ping me separately and let's have a look at that. That way you can do the other UK78 PCBs leisurely. Also, the copper looks lovely. Yeah, that sounds really good, dude. We should definitely look at that. Okay, so I'm just trying to heat up the solder here so we can push this switch in. Okay, so that's that one done. And then we're just going to do, just going to do this top corner, and then I'll grab that switch and we'll do the last one. And this is literally just a symptom of my desoldering being poor, guys. Sorry if this has gone off camera, I do apologise, just need the angle to... There we go, that's that done. Let me just grab that switch I dropped, we'll do the last one. Gosh, where's that gone? Give me 1 second, guys. Do this last one and then we'll be good to go. Okay, so now we're ready to solder the brass plate. Okay, sorry, my browser is deciding to play all sorts of tricks on me tonight. Okay, so again, we're just going to tack in the corners, making sure they're all in position, and then we'll do a couple in the middle, and we'll just carry on with the rest of the soldering job from there. So that's this corner done. Jump over to the other corner. As I say, this PCB has been desoldered. This is the PCB that had the skies in. I usually do find that boards that have been desoldered once accept the solder flow a lot faster the second, third time round when they're being soldered back again. Making some good progress here, guys. My phone is also going absolutely nuts. So I do apologise if you guys can hear that in the background. I suspect it's just Discord memes being Discord memes. What Hyros build? So what we're going to build is, James has a UK78, I've got a couple of them as well, but James wants to rebuild his with a copper plate, which he already has, and a Hyros build. So what we're going to do is desolder one of his existing PCBs. We're going to take that PCB, use the copper plate, and then we're going to rebuild that with all Hyros switches. So that's effectively like a 96 key layout, apart from there's no F row. So I've got a tub of, well, it's got James's Hyros in there and mine as well, and a few other bits and pieces. I think I've got about 300 Hyros in a tub at the minute. Along with the rest of the Nixes from the Alice build as well. They're all in the same tub currently. Some of the row done. Let's make some real progress now, guys, so that's always good. This PCB is going to need some tidy up with some isopropyl as well. The other one not so much, but this one where it's been desoldered and now it's being resoldered, there's going to be a couple of brown patches on there that will need some attention with some isopropyl, so we'll probably do that during the week. In other news as well, I also finished off the Melody 96 build off stream in between last week and this week for Benito. That was where he needed his LEDs putting in, but sadly, due to the fact that we had to desolder them, they needed warming up to just move the solder out of the way to get the LEDs back in. But that's all done now, and it's all being shipped back to him as well. So I really hope he's happy with that board when he gets it back. But I have to be honest, I was really surprised by the Melody 96. It was much better for the money than I was expecting the quality to be. It's actually a really nice little 96 keyboard, one of the better ones on the market right now, if I'm honest. Just a little bit more soldering to do, guys. Got this row and then the spacebar row, and then we'll be done. Then we can start to get into the interesting stuff, getting some caps on these and the sound tests as well. Okay, so we're just about to start on the last row now, and I have just dislodged, hold on, just dislodged a diode. We're just going to refix this really quickly. fixed. Okay, last row, and then we'll be done with the soldering iron for tonight. There's a space bar. Right, all. And the arrow keys. There we go, we're done. That is that all done. That's all the soldering done. So 2 boards soldered in what, 32 minutes I think? Something like that. I don't know. A little bit longer. Right, okay. Let's catch up on what's been going on in chat, if anything. It's probably me messaging you if you're talking about the Discord. Yeah, I was getting loads of things for that. I was going to put these lube vints from Max in the clip. Excited to see how it feels. Yeah, that's a good idea. Max's lubing is really on point. It's always really, really good in terms of his lubing quality. So I would definitely try that. Okay, so there we go. That's both boards now soldered. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the caps back on this board. We're going to stick with the Dolch caps on here. Hope I've got these in the right place. Oops. Get the majority of the mods put on first, and then we'll come back to the alphas afterwards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In fact, that's in the wrong spot because that goes there. That goes there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Try and be fairly quick at this, guys. I think it already looks better with the black switches in place rather than the sky switches. I don't know if you guys appreciate that, but I definitely think that looks a little bit better. I'll see you later, dude. Thanks for watching, man. Don't forget you can always catch up on the VOD on YouTube tomorrow and Twitch later on tonight. Oops. As always, we're using the UK ISO keys as well. As you all know, I'm an ISO fanatic, so it's always going to be ISO. Going to do the same. See you next time. See you, Soren. Always good to see you on stream. Thanks again for joining. Starting to look more like a keyboard now. We're starting to get some of these back in place. Typical, we've counted wrong. That's not a problem, we can soon fix that. Easy fixed. Okay. ERT. What do you guys think? You think this looks good? Better with the black switches, or was it better with the sky switches? Interested in your thoughts. There we go. Go. Okay, so we're getting there quickly now. Okay. Which way around do these go? We have page up at the top, page down, print screen and scroll like that. I don't think we have end. Delete it. And there we go, great. So that's the first one put back together. So GMK Dolch on the brass plate. Now we're going to move on to the copper plate. And on this one we are going to put, I don't know too many things over. So this is a GMK Oblivion, the grey variant. So we have the white variant as well, which actually isn't on a keyboard at the minute. That's not currently on a keyboard. Oh, that's the wrong space, but it's 6U. 6.25. There we go. This is the right one. Lovely. ISO enter. In fact, actually, do you know what? We'll go with the coloured mods rather than the monochrome mods. Skip those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we want that. I know we don't want that. That's too large. Okay. We've got a windowed caps lock key as well, that's quite nice. Okay, this is going to take a little bit longer to put together, just because we've got so many keys to sort through here. Especially with the monochrome mods. Try and bring the alphas out as we find them. We'll grab the coloured mods just in case we need them as well. Let's grab that afterwards. Okay. Have a look, see what's catching on. I guess black coloured switches are the norm, so anything else is more unusual, but once the caps are on you don't see the switch colour. That's true, it doesn't affect aesthetics though. Well, it does affect aesthetics, I think. If you know that something's different there, I think it really affects that. It certainly does for me anyway. Querdenker says, true, but sometimes you want to go out with your build style, like when Chewie 16 white with Reaver white switches and EBPT black on white caps. Completely white build, and the switches are part of them, part of the theme. Yeah, I mean that's a really exciting build. I really like that build. It's one of the better Chewies I've seen. If I'm completely honest, I'm not 100% sold that I would like that board personally. But that's, you know, by the by. Oh, interesting, we've got different coloured FN there, we might change that over. Let's have a look at how the aesthetic looks when we get some more caps in play. Where did that switch puller go? What did we do with that? This is the challenge with the monochrome pad pack being in with the we don't need that one. In with the actual key set itself. I think we said we didn't want numlock. I don't need that either. Okay, we're getting there now. We're making some progress. Slow progress, but it's progress all the same. Print screen goes here. Tab will want a coloured mod for tab. Okay, lots of different caps here. So there we go, there's stepped caps. We can pop that on, there we go. Here's the shift key. Don't think we need the other code. Control key just there. Need a 1U control as well, which is here. There we go. Okay, interesting. We've got the different coloured F keys as well. Got to make sure we get the right ones of those in play. QWERTY. Nine, 10, 11. Okay, so we are starting to make some progress. Sorry this is so slow, guys. Odin's got to go as well. Odin, thank you very much for joining, my friend. It's always good to see you, and I will miss you being here. Oh, good GMK camping on White Chewie. That might be nice. Yeah, that'd be really nice. I approve. So many keycaps here. This is always the worst part about a build, in my opinion, getting the caps on the board. I'd much rather just be able to skip to the part where the caps are already done. ASDFG. Yeah. FGH. TYUI. Don't think we use the home key, no. ISO pipe, always useful to have. Okay, so we got those in the wrong place. Yeah, I could use a cheat sheet. I've never actually used one. Come back to that in a second. It doesn't take too long to get the keycaps on the board. At least no one's pointing out the mistakes I keep making as well. You've all been very kind tonight on that kind of front. Normally there's always someone in chat that goes, oh, you've put the wrong key in the wrong place, as soon as I put it down. So that's good. Yeah, Miami Dusk is a nice set. Well, it's certainly not a bad set. It's one of the nicer sets. Sadly, I don't think it has UK ISO support, if I'm honest. I have got a set somewhere. I'll have to dig it out and have a look and see if that's the case. So that switch we just need to address with the soldering iron, just push a bit straighter. We can do that later on. VBN. There we go. 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, and 0. There we go. Just sorting through all of these keycaps here now. UIOP. Right, keycaps in place. We've got the J on. I am starting to believe that we should remove number pads from base kits. I think it's starting to slightly frustrate me when I don't need the keys. That being said, as soon as that happens, I'll start building keyboards that need numpads. Okay, so the rest of the keycaps are in here somewhere. I just need to find them out. F10. That's there. There is a B somewhere. We'll find it. A 7. An S. What else do we need? We need the minus key. Pretty sure I've seen that. How have I missed this? How have I missed it? It's not there. There it is. We need the scroll lock key. I might change escape actually over. Scroll lock's here. Have an end key, I think. Got the wrong profile. There's the right one. There we go. Okay, page down is somewhere. Page down is there. Should have a down arrow as well, which is here. Okay, B, which is there. 2 more caps now, guys. And then we are done with this particular bit. And then we can start getting some really interesting stuff with the sound tests. Okay. There's F12, just F9 needed now. Let's start to put them away. That might help us find the keycap that's missing. Do you know what, it's there? There we go. And we'll leave the escape as it is for now. We've decided don't want to change that. Okay guys, what do you think to that build? How does that look? Oh, Miami Dusk. Okay, yeah, sorry, there's two. There's Miami Nights and Miami Dusk. Sorry, I was getting mistaken. Miami Dusk, you're right, does support UKI, so but it's only a really small compatibility set. It's not compatible with the vast majority of boards out there, so you'll really struggle if you're getting some obscure or different form factor boards. Miami Nights, which is the one I was thinking of, which is the black and Miami colourway, that I'm not sure does have ISO. I got a set for Olivia that I proxied a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, if you, even some 60% boards it doesn't support. So if you wanted to go something like HHKB layout and things like that, I don't think it supports that. There we go. Okay, so that's the two boards looking together. Yeah, I think the blocker top's better as well, which is why this one doesn't have a blocker here. So that's why the plate's got the blocker in as well. I definitely think you're right, the blocker top looks better. But this is a nice way to showcase the plate itself as well. But those are the two builds. Let's get them side by side so you guys can see them. GMK Dolch, GMK Oblivion. Let's do a little bit of a sound test if we can get them both on the pad. Let's see what you guys think. So we'll start off on the brass plate, and again this isn't relative because it's not actually touching the case, so we'll start to do it in a second, but this is the brass plate. And then this is the copper plate. Let's do them together. So the pitch is slightly higher in the copper plate, which I didn't think was the case actually. I thought in my head that it was actually more of a muted tone, but it's definitely a higher pitch. It's definitely a high pitch. The space bars and the modifiers sound the same. So the spacebar modifiers do sound the same, but the caps do sound a little bit different. There's definitely a higher pitch coming from the copper plate. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there is definitely a higher pitch coming from the copper plate. But let's get it into the case and give it a try. I think we'll start off with the copper, as that's the one I'm most excited about. I'm not going to screw this together properly. I'm just going to basically tack this together with a couple of screws rather than go the whole hog. Just so we can hear it, see what we think. Allen keys, need a slightly larger one. So for those that you don't know, this board did have some problems being a prototype, namely that I had to drill all the holes out to get it to screw together, so it doesn't fit together the best, but again, it's a prototype, that's what these things are for. Tie on one more screw up. In fact, let's go for this one. I'm not fully sure that one's seated correctly. Okay, that's enough to start to make a test. So you can tell how heavy this is because it's absolutely ridiculously heavy. But let's give this a proper typing test and see what we think. So yeah, there we go. Go Agag, I don't know how you pronounce your name, I'm just going to call you Go. I'm a heavy typist and I've always typed with my forefinger, so I am trying to learn to touch type. This is the reason why I've got the VEA and the Alice. I don't know if you saw then, I kind of half flip between finger and thumb on the spacebar. The reason is that when I learnt to type, with a mouse that had a trackpad down here, and what I tended to find is that I would use the mouse trackpad with my thumb and just type with my thumb over the trackpad. So I kind of forced myself to type lower down. So I am really trying to build that back up, but I'm a heavy typist, and that's why a lot of my boards have got 125 grams of pings in. But yeah, I do really hammer the spacebar. But there you go. It sounds quite nice. And I am really hammering the keys here. If I was typing really gently. It sounds like that. But yeah, it's one of those things. I am a really heavy typist. But yeah, it's one of those things. You put me on the spot now, guys. I'm really self-conscious about my typing. It is something I'm trying to address. I've been going through touch typing tutorials for the past few weeks, probably about a month now. If I am solely touch typing, my typing speed has dropped from 65 words per minute, just typing how I normally do, to about 25 to 30. But it is something that I'm working on. It is something that I'm trying to get better at. I know it makes me a terrible person typing the way I do, especially on the types of boards that I have, but we are getting there. So I do think this sounds really nice. Again, yeah, I hammer the spacebar, but that's that. It sounds great. I think it's really nice. I was really surprised that it's quite high pitched compared to the brass. I thought the brass would be more high pitched, but it's not. That's just the way it is. But yeah, that's copper versus the brass. What I am going to do is I'm going to do a sound test whereby I'll have on stream. Well, not on stream, on the video, where I'll have the board and I'll split the screen in two, so you'll see me typing on one and typing on the other and typing on one and typing on the other across the stream, so you'll be able to see the sound difference across the two, and I'll use the same sound recording setup and everything, and then what I'll do is I'll alternate key presses like that so you can see. Yeah, that screw's not in properly because the board's not fully aligned, as you can see just there. But yeah, so that's the Noxary X75 Prototype with the brass plate in there, sorry, with the copper plate in there. It's quite nice when you get the copper and the light through the plate as well. That looks quite good. There you go. Noxary X75 Prototype board. Yeah, I've been learning to touch type for a few weeks now. I'm not up to speed with it. I do flip between the two. I have to be really self-conscious about it to type touch typing, and when I do, I'm a lot slower. Now at work, that's just not acceptable at the minute because I have to type an awful lot. So I just revert back to my standard typing method. It is something that I'm actually actively trying to work on. I will get there, but it's just going to take some time. Just going to take a little bit of time. So yeah, so that's that. So the two key sets there. Again, GMK Olivia we had on stream earlier on. Whoops. Which again is a lovely set. But actually that works really well with the grey. I don't know if you guys can make that out, but that looks really nice with the Oblivion actually. Yeah, not so much the Dolts, but definitely the Oblivion. So yeah, so there we go, guys. That's the copper plate build. Yeah, Olivia. Yeah, woo. I'm slightly miffed that she didn't join. I'm just gonna see if I can get her to join. Hold on, let's see what's going on my Discord, because I've got a ton of different messages on here. See if I can just ping her and show her it before I end the stream, when my computer decides to let me do whatever it's going to do. Okay. See where her PMs are. Apologies for this, guys. If not, and Olivia, if you're watching this on the catch up on the VOD, I do apologise you weren't there. One of those things, but yeah, you'll be able to see what it looks like, how it all fits together, what the keys look like. I do think it's one of my favourite sets right now. I love the little novelties. I don't know if you guys can see the legends on there, the little heart too. Olivia's trademark heart symbol. But yeah, really happy with that as well. Really happy with the copper plate build. I think it looks really good. I think it sounds nice as well. I do need to play around with it a little bit more. I need to tidy up that key as well, because it is slightly not pressed in correctly as the switch. And I think that's just due to the plate popping out a little bit, but I'll fix that offline, and we'll go from there. Next week, guys, when we come back, we'll be doing the TX 1800 V2 build with Revo White and GMK Olivia. That will be the build for next week. So if you guys haven't seen a TX board, do tune in for that. We'll also be talking about the next giveaway, which is going to be really exciting. It's going to be a little bit bigger in terms of the value and a few of the bits and pieces. So it's something I'm really excited to do. So yeah, so thank you very much again. As always, the subscriptions, bits, donations, anything else that happens online or offline all gets put into the kitty for the giveaways. There's no profiteering here from that kind of stuff. It's literally all for the giveaways. Try and make the community a much better place. And again, thank you very much for joining. I'm going to end the stream there, but thank you very much. I appreciate you as always, and I've really enjoyed being back, so it's been great to be back on stream. So thank you very much, guys. Apologies for being a bit quiet at times and getting my head down with the soldering, but 2 builds in one night, what more could you ask for? Cheers, folks. Thanks very much, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.